On the very day Pope Francis died, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, who refers to herself as Catholic when it suits her politically, tweeted that, quote, "Evil is being defeated by the hand of God." While she didn't mention the Pope by name, the timing led many to interpret it as a pointed reference to his passing. It kind of calls into question belief in the whole system of, organized religion and Catholicism more specifically, if you think the man closest to God is being defeated by God. Because if that was the case, why would he let that man be in charge of his people for, a lot of years? Also, I hate to point this out, but typically people of faith don't, how do you put this, celebrate when somebody dies, let alone the leader of all the people of faith of that particular faith, when that person's the Pope and whatnot. But that's just kind of where we're at now. She's probably mad and a little butthurt because Pope Francis wasn't exactly MAGA material. He believed in things like climate change, helping migrants, and not being a raging bigot, which in today's GOP apparently makes you evil. But then taking it to the next level, you've got Real America's Voice host Gina Loudon, a hardcore MAGA mouthpiece, suggesting that the Pope may not have just died, he might have gone to hell. Look at this.
I don't know that I am so sure about where the Pope is today. I don't know that holding a title necessarily ushers you into the arms of Jesus. You do really hope and pray that the next Pope is more in line with biblical teaching. And if you're not in line with biblical teaching, I don't know where you land with God in the end. I really don't know. I think the number is few. But then again, I'm a Calvinist, so.
Wow. See, American conservatives, including unknown figures like Donald Trump, have had a complicated and often contentious relationship with Pope Francis, who used to be a club bouncer, by the way, a nightclub bouncer, particularly due to his progressive stances on various social and political issues. Even though, keep in mind, this Pope did not change any church doctrine whatsoever. He could have done it. He was the Pope. He could have just decreed it, but decided not to do that, but just instead spoke out a little bit on the more progressive side of things, a little bit more about caring for the downtrodden. It's supposed to be what Jesus' teachings were, but I don't mean to split hairs here. But his emphasis on social justice, environmental stewardship, and inclusivity definitely clashed with the priorities of many American conservatives. So yeah, the party that once branded itself as the moral majority is now openly beefing with a dead Pope. If that doesn't tell you how far off the rails this thing has gone, nothing will. And in a little bit of fairness to Marjorie Taylor Greene, she technically did leave the Catholic Church to just be regular old Christian a few years back when she said that she didn't feel that the Catholic Church was doing enough to protect children and therefore her own children from pedophiles. So hard to argue that one. She said that individual followers can be pious and there are some great people in the church, but that the upper echelon of leadership wasn't doing enough. And Pope Francis was sometimes good on this issue and sometimes bad on this issue, and said you needed evidence to prove you're abused and then apologized for that, but also then protected other people who were high up in the church who were accused of child abuse while letting some go as well. So a pretty mixed record when it comes to something very, very serious. And I don't understand personally how the Catholic Church keeps any followers when they didn't as strongly as possible immediately get rid of all people in the church who ever did anything against a child, because they are children and children need to be protected even more than adults. If you're not familiar with the concept, you should look it up. But also, it's not lost on me, and perhaps not on you, that by saying even the Pope, the man who again did not change Catholic Church doctrine, just spoke a bit about being a little bit more embracing of the LGBTQ community, a little bit more embracing of immigrants, made him a leftist, and furthermore, they're not sure if he is in heaven or hell. So clearly by extrapolation there, they're saying that everyone on the left is going to hell, because the Pope was definitely not as far left as most on the left, and if he's going to hell, then where does that leave the rest of us? Better bring a bucket of ice, because it's going to be hot down there. Except for the record, I think these people are sort of making it up, and heaven and hell as we imagine them probably don't exist at all, so we're probably safe. But just in case, bring sunscreen or whatever. I'm Ben Gleib for Rebel HQ. You can subscribe to my podcast Last Week on Earth and follow me on Instagram at Ben Gleib for lots more. Thank you so much.